Here's what's new, taxi updates just for you.
Hi, I'm Lisa and I'm here to discuss some bits about licensing and what's changing. So if you're a taxi or private hire driver in the UK right now, you don't need telling. The job's getting tougher. But a lot of what's changing isn't just about the day-to-day. It's coming from taxi licensing and it's starting to affect how the whole system feels. So let's get straight into it. First, the issue that most drivers are talking about is out-of-area licensing. Right now, drivers can get licensed in one council and work somewhere completely different. And in reality, that's led to big imbalances. Some councils are cheaper, quicker, or less strict. So drivers go there, get their license, and then work in the busier areas. But if you've paid higher fees and passed stricter checks and followed tighter rules, it's frustrating because you're competing with drivers who don't have to meet the same standards. And that's just annoying, and it hits your earnings. The government's now looking at reducing the number of licensing authorities and tightening things up. In theory, that should make things fairer. But will it? We've got bigger licensing authorities appearing, supposedly to save us money, when what's actually happening is we're paying the same amount of money and getting less service from these bigger authorities. So a lot of drivers are asking, will that actually fix the problem or just add more bureaucracy? Well, most drivers take a pride in doing things properly: vehicle checks, safeguarding, background checks, keeping their cars clean. But across the UK, these standards still vary depending on where you're licensed. So you can end up working alongside drivers who didn't go through the same levels of checks that you have. And this affects trust in the trade, and ultimately that affects all of us. There is talk of national minimum standards, which sounds like a step in the right direction, but only if they're enforced properly. Otherwise, nothing really changes. So let's talk about money, because this is where it really starts to bite for the trade. VAT on private hire is becoming a major issue. With new rules, many journeys are now subject to 20% VAT, and that cost has to land somewhere. Fares go up, passengers walk away. Operators take a cut, or drivers end up earning less. And at a time when costs are already rising, fuel, especially with the current crisis, insurance, vehicle upgrades, that extra pressure is just hard to absorb. Our fees are going up in taxi licensing as well. What are we getting for this? For some drivers, it's making them seriously question staying in the job. Another issue we have is cross-border bookings. Jobs are often passed between operators in different areas, sometimes more than once. So passengers don't always know. And to be honest, you, the drivers, don't always know the full chain either. But if something goes wrong, responsibility isn't always clear. And that leaves the driver exposed in a system that can feel a bit too loose when it comes to accountability. Then there's the future. As we all know, technology changes every day, and it's already changed the job massively with app-based work, which has been great for the trade. But now there's talk of driverless taxis being licensed in the UK. It's not going to happen overnight, but it is coming onto the radar. This raises a serious question. What does the long-term future look like for licensed drivers and operators? So, where does that leave us? Well, taxi licensing clearly heading for change, but from a driver's point of view, the priorities are simple. You want fairness across the board, you need consistent standards, you need protection of your earnings and clear rules that actually get enforced for everyone. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just policy, this is your livelihood, your family, your mortgage. And if the system isn't fair for drivers, it won't work for anyone. So I hope this will open up some discussions among the trade, because next month I'm going to go out chatting to drivers and operators to get their take on some of the changes that are coming up in the industry, where we go with EV licensing, WAV licensing, and various other matters. But for now, let's head back to the team in the Taxi Talk studio.